Hello, welcome friends. This is Narshin Taj, Assistant Professor, Department of CSC SIT. So, we are back with the implementation strategies. The next topic is hidden surface removal. Hidden surface removal is a method or it's a process where we remove the hidden surfaces of a polygon, means the surfaces that are not visible to the viewer in the real scenario will be removed, so that to give a perfect 3D shapes of the objects. So basically there are two approaches for this hidden surface removal. One is called object space approach and another is called image space approach. Okay, as we saw earlier, this is nothing but we are concentrating on the whole image at once in the image space, or else we can take up object by object in the object space. So here, as you see here, if we take up two polygons in a scene, then there could be four possibilities that A can be completely obscures B from the camera, and hence we display only A. B obscures A, where we display only B. A and B both are completely visible, so we can display both. A and B are partially obscures each other. We must calculate the visible parts of each polygon. So in these four situations, we have to find what are the parts of the polygons that are visible to the viewer, and the hidden parts of the polygons must be removed. If we go with K objects, then we must compare them pairwise and render the visible parts. This need to be repeated until all objects are compared and all other K minus 1 with all other K minus 1 objects. So this is object approach. So you have to take up each pair of the objects and find out which one is hiding the other, and once we see that one is hiding the other, then we have to find the visible part of the hidden polygon. So after finding one of the solution, that is one of the possible case out of these four, we have to find what are the visible parts of the K polygons we have in our image. So it needs comparison of every object with the K minus 1 objects, hence the complexity of this calculation will be O of K square, which can be reduced with the help of image space approach, where we consider a ray emanating from the center of projection. In the image, we consider the center of projection, and from there we passes a ray through every pixel, and we find whether a pixel intersects how many number of objects in the consideration. So the first intersection is nothing but the first visible object. So if there is any other intersection with some other polygon, then that is going to be the hidden object in the scene or image. In a similar fashion, we are going to consider the multiple rays in the whole image area. So you are going to find the intersection closer to the center of projections. The fundamental operation is intersection of rays with polygons. Hence, if we consider an area of n or a display unit of the size n cross m, we have to carry out the operations n into m into k times. Hence it gives us the complexity as O of k, which is much lesser than the object oriented approach, that is O of k square. Then the next method is sorting and hidden surface removal. So any method that involves brute force comparison of objects by pairs will give us the complexity O of k square. If we could organize the objects by their distances from the camera, we should be able to come up with a direct method of rendering them. Here we go with the scan lines. Scan line, this is called a scan line fill algorithm, and even it is an approach under sorting method. So we take up the scan lines and we find the intersections, and then we sort the intersection points in order to fill a polygon. So here it is only one polygon. There could be multiple polygons overriding each other. So in that cases also this helps very well. So for each and every scan line you are going to find what are the different intersection points. If at all the intersections are belonging to the same polygon, say x1 is the intersection belonging to one of the left side of a polygon, and x2 is another intersection with the same polygon at the another side, then we fill all the pixels coming from x1 to x2 with a polygon, with that particular polygon color. If at all it is different, x3 is a intersection of one polygon, but x4 is the intersection of another polygon, then we still have to look forward whether we have some more intersections. Something like this, if we have, then we can find even what type of intersections these are, means the intersections are belonging to which of the polygons. If there are two consecutive intersections belonging to the same polygon, then we fill from left to right, else we take up the color of another polygon. If it is only one polygon, then the background color will be applied for the other spaces lying outside the polygon. The another method is called backface removal. So in this backface removal, all back faces of a polygon which are not visible to a user are removed, and it is also known as culling. We can see the face of a polygon if the normal which comes out of the polygon face is pointed toward the viewer. That is, if theta is the angle between the normal and the viewer, then the polygon is facing forward. If and only if the theta is in between minus 90 or 90, or the cos of theta is greater than 0, or else we can also check the second condition, that is n minus v is greater than 0. And if we assume that the polygon is on a surface, that is ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0, then here, depending on the sign of C, we can determine whether the face of a polygon is back face or front face. If the sign of C is positive, then the corresponding polygon face is the front face. In OpenGL, we have a built-in function called glCullFace to eliminate the back face of a polygon. This algorithm is based on the computing of the area of the polygon. Consider the polygon with n vertices. Its area is given by half into summation of yi plus 1 plus yi into x of I plus 1 minus xi. A negative area indicates back back face of a polygon. The next method is the Z-buffer algorithm. It is the most widely used hidden surface removal algorithm. The advantages of this algorithm is it is easy to implement in both hardware and software, and it is compatible with all graphics pipeline architectures. And it is based on image space approach, where we find that the complexity is O of k instead of O of k square in the case of object space approach. So we here find the depth values for each and every polygon, so which can easily tell me the information that which is in front and which is at the back. So you need to initialize the depth buffer to maximum Z coordinate value and color the buffer to the background color. Then we generate a ray from the center of projection through pixel to the polygons. When the ray intersects with the polygon, you need to update the color buffer pixel to the color of the polygon and depth buffer pixel to the depth of the polygon. Then repeat the same process for each polygon and pixel. Then the next step is compare the depths of the polygon to the value in the Z buffer corresponding to this fragment. If this depth is greater than the depth in the Z buffer, then we have already processed a polygon with a corresponding fragment closer to the viewer, and this fragment is not visible. If the depth is less than the depth in the Z buffer, then we have found a fragment closer to the viewer. So we update the depth buffer in Z buffer and place the shade computed for this fragment at the corresponding location in the color buffer. The next method is depth sort, and it is also known as Painter's algorithm. This is based on object space approach. Depth sort is a variant of Painter's algorithm, and sometimes it is also referred as Painter's algorithm. As you see in this figure, so when a painter looks at an image, so he has to first paint the background first, and then he comes to the foreground objects. For example, in the above figure, we have two polygons A and B. To a viewer, they appear as shown in B, right? If it is appearing in this fashion, means A is on the top and B is at the back. Then with the polygon in front partially obscuring the other. So there are two approaches to render these polygons. We could find the part of the rear polygon that is visible and could render that part into the frame buffer. So a calculation that requires clipping one polygon against the another. We could paint the rear polygon in its entirety. The rear polygon could be fully painted, and then the front polygon, painting over the part of the rear polygon not visible to the viewer in the process. So these are the two approaches a painter can follow. So we can follow the same approaches in implementation too. I can also use Painter's algorithm to render these polygons. The first step of this algorithm is to order all the polygons by how far away from the viewer their maximum Z value is. This step gives the algorithm the name depth sort. If the minimum depth, the z value of a given polygon, is greater than the maximum depth of the polygon behind the one of the interest, we can paint the polygons back to front and we are done with the rendering. For example, in the above figure, polygon A is behind all other polygons. This is behind all other polygons. So we start rendering A first, then we go with the next. It could be D and then A and then B. If the z extents of two polygons overlap, we still may be able to find an order to paint the polygons individually and yield the correct image. So here basically we find the clipping parts. When they are overlapping, the partial parts of both of the polygons will be displayed. So consider a pair of polygons whose z extents overlap. The simplest test is to check their x and y extents. If either of the x or y extents do not overlap, neither polygon can obscure the other, and they can be painted in either order. So the last topic in this implementation part is called anti-aliasing. While rasterizing the line segments and edges of the polygons, sometimes the polygons look jagged, and it is also known as aliasing error. There are mainly three reasons for this aliasing errors. The first thing is, if we have an n cross m frame buffer, the number of pixels is fixed and we can generate only certain patterns to approximate a line segment. Beyond that, we cannot generate the other patterns. The second reason is pixel locations are fixed on a uniform grid. Third is pixels have a fixed size and shape. So because of any one or all of these three reasons, so these aliasing errors or effects will be visible in the rendering of polygons. So to avoid these aliasing errors, we use the method anti-aliasing. So mathematical lines are one-dimensional entities that have length but not width. Rasterized lines must have a width in order to be visible. So we have to give some width to the lines so that they could be visible properly to the viewer. Suppose that each pixel is displayed as a square of width 1 unit and can occupy a box of 1 unit height. So in order to remove these aliasing errors, we have to give some width to the rasterized lines. With mathematical lines, one-dimensional entities will have only length but not the width. In order to make these rasterized lines visible, we must have some width to this. So suppose each pixel is displayed as a square of width 1 unit and can occupy a box of 1 unit height and width on the display, then it reduces the jagging effects, nothing but the aliasing errors. So this is about the hidden surface removal and the small topic aliasing and anti-aliasing. For any queries you can ping me on WhatsApp, or you can put your comments in the comment box. Hope you have understood